Good day to each and every single one of you beautiful souls that hopefully have, interacted with this or listened to it, or even that just saw it and then in a fleeting glance throw and then threw it away. Or threw it away may not be the right word, but yeah. Um, every time I decide to press record, it would infer that I actually have something of significance to say, something meaningful. But right now, I don't really think that I have much to say. I guess I just wanted to speak, and there are certain topics that I wanted to cover. None of them intertwined, and none of them correlated in any way. Just a bunch of topics. And once again, if you hear the predominantly nasally voice, you can attribute it to just sickness. I've been out a lot, and I can't say I haven't been resting, but I have been staying up later than I should. And those all nighters, as in my early teens, are catching up to me slowly but surely. And at the tender age of 18, not even what many would consider old, but the body remembers and it really does keep score. And it's like 97-0 right now. And I'm not winning. I haven't gotten a single bucket on my body. It's keeping score. But I kind of was staying up and in these thoughts of mine, I contemplated some issues that many wouldn't consider subjective. Oftentimes, I hear a lot. Oh, how can you really know if this is right or wrong? This is subjective. How can you really? This is who are we to dictate somebody's life? And I thought about a couple things that we can really all agree upon are being that are wrong. Um, and I thought to myself, one of the only things that I can really think about right now, that if somebody were to say it right now, even though I may not have anything to substantiate it, I would be able to affirmatively and comfortably say that they are wrong. And it would be somebody saying that they are entirely alone and that nobody else is going through what they are going through at that very moment. The idea of this podcast was togetherness. Now, you'd think that there'd be more guests considering I want to tell other people's stories. However, right now I myself am struggling with interacting with other people, with my contemporaries. Like there's not a dissonance; these are still my friends, but I'm having a lot of trouble just communicating with them. I don't know. Like I'll call them sometimes randomly, and by them I mean like one or two people, and I'll just try to start a conversation or do something. And I realize that I'm struggling since I've dropped out of college. My life has been completely different. Things have changed very quickly, and their lives are also moving forward very quickly. Time in Abilene and time in Florida and time in Toronto, in a sense, people who I once spoke to, it's very different. People's lives move very quickly. And season two isn't season five. And I can't say that I've gotten stuck in season two, but I make cameo appearances, but it's just hard. A lot of the people that I wanted to talk to, their lives are so incredibly different that if I'm not there to see it happen, it's a little weird to capture their story. Yes, I'd probably be able to, but I just don't feel secure about doing it. Like, it's kind of like going back to a place you haven't been in a while, and everyone has these handshakes, and you're like stuck on the old handshake. It's not that big of a deal, nor is it very significant, but it's weird, but true. Do I feel any animosity towards it? No, I chose to leave. I think I made the right decision. As I say in every single episode, I'm experiencing a place. I'm experiencing a new love and a new fondness for home that I never thought I could ever feel. A home that I can now reside in and actually have a foundation in. Home is in a lot of places for me, but the beauty is taking that wherever I go and being able to see Toronto and its splendor, because I wasn't exactly an adventurous youth, to which now I am, is beautiful. Like my older cousin, Adrian, he gave me a camera. I think the camera belonged to him. There are a lot of memories on it. I still have to charge it and kind of use it, but it was his way of creating a bridge between at where he was in life and where I am in life. Very similar positions. where right now they're kind of just putting things out there, seeing what they want to do in life, not knowing what they want to do, but he gave it to me because he thought it would be of significance. He said, even if you use it once, I still want you to have it. And it was very, very considerate of him, very, very caring, and I really appreciated him for it. I recently saw my auntie from Switzerland, not from Switzerland, but she lives there, who I haven't seen in, it's been 6 years. It's been a while. Shoot, if I thought life moved fast after 2 weeks of not seeing people, I can't imagine what it's like seeing I'm sorry, my apologies. The last time she saw us, shoot, I'm 18 now. That would be 12. At 12, I was still playing basketball competitively. I was still just getting over the elementary hump, entering middle school. I think I had my first day of middle school not too long after that. I'm not sure because I don't remember. I remember 12. Like I had at 12 years old, I had won the OBAs, and that's a basketball thing in Toronto. Our team, the East York Eagles, had won. Fast forward 6 years later, I don't play basketball competitively anymore. I'm nowhere near the same kid, but I I sympathize with my auntie because she's coming into an environment where she's completely unfamiliar and has to kind of figure out a way to extend a bridge and connect with us where we are right now and where she is, because we've kind of been made aware of how her life has been going these past 6 years, but she doesn't really know much about us. She knows us, she loves us. Things have changed, and we know her and we love her, but things have clearly changed. So I don't know. It was just really interesting, and it puts into perspective just how long. Because to me, 2 weeks was so significant, based on the time I actually left and based on how long it's been since I've actually spoken to people or seen some people and seen their lives unfold. And I think about my auntie, who it's been 6 years. She didn't even know I wrote poetry. It's just really funny. Last time she saw me, I was creating it on the court. Now I'm actually writing and figuring it out. And I've gone to university. It's crazy to me. But apart from my scattered thoughts about that, which may develop themselves later, I still have to text her. The point is, I don't know if it's fear of missing out, which I can't fear something that I avidly participated in making a reality. Like, I'm not going to leave a party because I hate it and then get angry at myself because it's great. No, it's weird. And I understand that humans should be entitled to their own emotions and to feel certain things, but I do think that it's important right now where I am to really reevaluate a lot of the relationships that I've been making and a lot of the relationships that I've been forging and a lot of the bridges that I've been trying to build, and really look at if the person on the other side of that bridge wants to really cross it or even be on that bridge. Not saying burn it, because we don't do that. Just maybe not devoting so much effort into each bridge. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm somebody who likes making everybody happy, but I do like seeing my friends smile, and I do consider people friends very loosely. So oftentimes people have a very grand criteria for friends, but I joke around and I tell people often, if you found me in your life, it means something's wrong with yours. And I patch it up, and then you go about your day and you go about your life. And maybe we meet, maybe we don't ever meet again. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes the dynamic is I actually get to be friends with a person. And I have people that are like that in my life. I talk to them almost every day. It's kind of weird to me reevaluating certain things. Like I used to say thank you so much. I still do. It's a habit. I used to say thank you for the smallest mundane things. I remember the first person who taught me this was a girl named Layla, who we both went to Northern at the same time, which indeed was a blessing. And I used to thank her for the most mundane things. I used to thank her for listening or thank her for it. And yes, we can go on and on about it being a byproduct of me not being heard or whatnot. But I can't really say that because my mom and dad were always really good about listening to me. Maybe there are certain things that I just felt I couldn't communicate, but that was also because I did not have the ability or the words or the vocabulary or the experience to communicate it as effectively as I would have now. So I used to thank her for listening, but I don't really think I thanked her for listening. I thank her for understanding now that I look at it. And she'd always ask me why I was thanking her. Because these are seemingly small things, the mundane, the bare minimum, for listening, for just small things that she used to do that I used to really appreciate at the time and still would. But I'd be better at maybe communicating my appreciation instead of making it seem like it's never been done before. I was thanking that girl like she was doing something miraculous, like she had rid my body, like she had helped me grow to 7'3", like on the spot. She helped me grow to 7 foot. Like no, she just listened to me. But I guess at the time that did make me feel like I was 7'3". I don't know. As we all know, different seasons bring different things in life, and different challenges and different people bring you new knowledge. I got to look at my prior former relationship through a new lens that I had at NSU. And it was only through watching the destruction of one of my friends' relationships through the through both perspectives that I realized what I had done wrong and realized to what extent I had made mistakes. So it's kind of nice to be able to think about that 12-year-old self that my auntie once saw and the questions that she asked me the night we went out that kind of aligned with who she once knew me to be, and think about the fact that I do it to myself frequently. Like look at old memories and posit them and gain new perspective on them. She helped me see who I was then in a better light. I still kind of resent 12 years old was the first time I started really taking basketball seriously. Wish I had done it earlier. And as you can tell, probably by the way I described my 12-year-old self, I'd had a grudge against myself for it. And I didn't really let myself breathe for it. But now with all the people that I've met, all the perspective that I've gained on my like former relationship, on things that I used to thank people for, things that I now help people with, that I say, you don't have to thank me. That's the bare minimum. That was me. That was me. That was entirely me. When I really look at it, that was who I was. I'm now the ones telling people, oh, you don't have to say thank you. It's bare minimum. Like, I appreciate it. It's very kind of you, and I understand why you're doing it. I used to hate that person that I was because of what I learned. I thought that by becoming wiser and becoming smarter, I would then be able to criticize my younger self. But no, by becoming wiser and smarter, that was my bridge to my younger self, to meet up in the middle and maybe give him a hug or understand him a little better, and understand that with this newfound wisdom, I am not to belittle that person, even though I have now become what that 12-year-old self was always looking for that entire time. So I guess it's just bizarre to me that I see myself becoming that person in a weird way to people in my life. Like there are certain times where dynamics shift in friendships, like sometimes, and that's just what friends are, I guess. And I guess those are what scales are. Scales can't ever fully be balanced. Sometimes somebody needs more and you give them more. Sometimes somebody else needs more and you give them more. Like a lot of the friendships were strictly, which I thought at 12, and I used 12 because that was when I thought it. I remember writing stuff down and thinking that at that time, I used to think friendship was just you helping somebody. Like me, I would get joy out of helping people. And I still do. But I understand what I meant. Give everything, don't receive anything in return. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody just wants to be heard. What I really didn't realize was there's no such thing as real friendship if you don't let someone into your ship. It's a ship. Both ships both ships are equally as important. Now, this isn't an incredible lesson. This isn't something that you all don't already know. I'm sure every single one of you know this by now. It's just being formulated differently because I guess I can really overcomplicate matters. But However, it's kind of interesting to explore many of the phases of my life and a lot of the people that were in different seasons and explore who they were. I don't think I can use this in, like, I'm going to bring up Animal Farm here and I'm taking a huge risk here. Or maybe I'm not. You know how when you read that book initially at a younger age, if you've read that book, the animals are animals, and then you grow up and you realize that, I think the term is anthropomorphism, and I think that's the term. I think I'm just not pronouncing it correctly, and I believe the definition, and I'll look it up right now of it. Um, Hold up, give me a second. It's the attribution of human characteristics or behavior to a god, animal, or object. Or maybe symbolism would be the better word. And you realize that each animal represents something different. I don't remember what animal represents what, but it was symbolic. The animals weren't just animals, they were a symbol of something. When I looked at people at the time that I had met them, I never realized that they would become symbols to my life. Themes of cycles, themes of patterns, themes of what not to do again, what to do again. Themes of certain things that I just don't have the experience or knowledge to explore yet, that are still kind of fleshing themselves out into developing what they could be. A never ending puzzle, an eternal puzzle of putting pieces together. It's kind of nice. And it really allows me to look at people differently, but from a really nice perspective, a really nice and beautiful perspective that I never would have had. Like Layla and so many of the things that I never thought I never thought meant that much means so much to me now. The person who I had a relationship with in Florida, a lot of the things that we would both do, I now realize what their significance is. It's kind of like taking it's kind of like pulling out a weed and then being surprised that it grew back, and not realizing that when if there are roots that are established and you don't kill it at the root, it'll probably grow back. It will grow back. And I guess that analogy may have nothing to do with what I just mentioned, but I'm just going to leave that point there and section that off because it's still developing itself. Give it time. That's kind of the point of this. Give it time. It'll develop itself. Maybe I'll come back to this and cringe because of how wrong I was, but that's the beauty of being wrong. You can't really learn if you're not wrong a couple times. The difference is that I'm being wrong publicly. So that's a little harder, I guess. I now am subject to all of your opinions, and I am now allowing myself to be corrected publicly as well. So, kind of reminds me of something that I wrote recently, and it's a poem about social media. And I was thinking about this story of this person that's really, 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 really famous, like has tons of followers and tons and tons and tons of interactions, and the serotonin that comes with seeing all these people that approve of your opinion, that follow you. But what if you're wrong? What if you are wrong, but yet still have all of these people backing you, all these people supporting you, all of these people? Would you ever want, like, if you're living a lie and that lie is gaining traction and that lie is giving you a life in the parasocial world that you wouldn't have in the real world, would you really want to give it up if that lie is basically defining you? How much would you be willing to give up for a lie? And the poem is called Let Me Go Home. I might release it on my poetry page, I may not, but I'll read it out. Hopefully, hopefully it makes sense. So here it goes. Ignore my sick voice, please. In the realm where silence roars beneath the glow of screens, a soul embarked on digital shores to sow their social seams. With every post, a heart laid bare in hopes of a fleeting glance, a like, a share, a comment there, a craving for the dance. The rise was swift as numbers bloomed, a garden of eyes unseen. Each notification a flower perfumed, in the void a reigning queen. The rush of serotonin's kiss, a siren's call, sweet and dire, blinded by the abyss, igniting vanity's pyre. Yet beneath the shimmer a whisper grew, a truth hard to confess, connections many, connections new, but loneliness caressed. For every heart that seemed to care, 100 more but ghosts, a gallery of glares, an empty air, hosts to empty boasts. Time slipped through fingers like grains of sand lost to digital streams. Real life's demands, a distant land, fading like forgotten dreams. Family, friends, and shadows cast as the screen's glow held sway. Moments passed in pixels vast, real connections frayed away. In quiet, sorry, in quiet hours, the question asked, voice trembling in the night, is this the task for which I'm masked? Is this relentless fight? For likes, for shares, for empty stares, worth the cost it claims. In this affair, who truly cares amongst these digital games? Yet still, the screen beckons a relentless lure, with promises of fame. Despite the reckons, one thing's sure, they'll never sing your name. In the end, what matters most, lost in the digital foam, are not the ghosts that haunt your posts, but those who sing of home. And I think I might release that on my poetry page. But that's something that I wrote. And yeah, I also don't know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of gonna let that one sit there and be what it is and be in its own category. The same way I've kind of learned to allow people to be in their own little boxes. Not boxes, because I don't want to constrain someone to their own box, because a box is very limiting. But in that sense, I mean, associating another person's personality with somebody else and the theory of every person is the same, but just in different ways. I know there's a theory about that. Like when you move so much and you've met so many people that you kind of meet the same personality in different people. I'm taking a risk by saying this because, of course, there are certain similarities, but no two people are ever similar enough for that to ever happen. Like, yes, there may be, that's oftentimes projection. That's oftentimes merely reflection of what we think. So let's say I take a girl named Sephora and I compare her to another girl that I know. That's unfair to Sephora because although she may remind me of a person that I once met due to a lot of seemingly mundane things, the feelings they give somebody, just certain nuances, or maybe you're looking too hard, and I might be projecting this entire time, and this might be a me issue. It is unfair to attribute that theory to anybody because no two people will ever be the same. And it takes away from the beauty of the human experience and the beauty of each human being unique. And that is what we are. But again, I'll also let that one sit there because it could easily not make sense. I have 30 minutes to record until this thing cuts off by itself. I'm at 22 minutes and 57 seconds, 58, 59, 23. And I've just wasted 3 of them counting seconds. So, in closing, I don't know what I'm going to do with this episode. I'm going to release it. I don't know what its purpose is, what its significance is. But I went downstairs to get food and make something for myself, and I just felt compelled to talk, whether it be about the fact that I have a hard time staying in the present because I prepare myself for so many situations that sometimes I mourn the passing of certain people before they've even left my life. And then when they leave my life, I think that I see myself as some clairvoyant seer or somebody who thought of it before it happened. But I really just allowed my thoughts to permeate in my reality, which then became my reality. I really wasn't a seer. I really wasn't some genius that said, oh, that person's not going to last. And they didn't. I did it to myself. Now, in some instances, of course, you just know about somebody and what they are going to be to your life, and it comes to fruition. And in those cases, I completely understand because we've all had those. But please do not allow your mind to create your reality so negatively. I guess it's kind of like the analogy of entering a system and succeeding in a system and saying that it is the means to liberate others from a system that has destroyed and hurt you is also a little bit weird. Like if a system that's been built to destroy you and your way to solve that destruction is by entering that very system so that you can succeed in it to liberate others and see that as a tool and a key of liberty from the very system that's been hurting you, then that's kind of weird. I guess everything in life is a paradox and a little contradictory if you really look at it closely enough. But yeah, so let me close again and say that I hope that ladies drinking water because hydration is important. I hope that my friends at NSU, I hope that my friends at ACU, I hope that my friends from NSS, not that any of them will hear it, are doing well. I hope that my friends from Georges Etienne are doing well. I hope that they're all doing well. From SFA, I hope that they're doing well. And to all the places that all the places that I've yet to be, and all the people that I've yet to see, and all the faces that I've yet to speak to, I hope that they're doing well because everything's already been written. I'm just being put in places that allow me to see it. So, yeah, I hope that all of you are doing well. I love every single one of you. And I hope that if you're listening to this on Spotify, you enjoy the song I play at the end. I don't really know what it's going to be yet. Maybe Kendrick Lamar. But if you're on YouTube and you're listening to this, sorry, I can't play any music. They'll copyright me. Not like I get paid for this anyway. But um, I still want people to see it and listen to it, even though it's quite literally just my voice for like 20 minutes of your day. I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to listen to this because time is very valuable, the most valuable asset. Not even an asset because that commoditizes it. It's the most valuable beauty of all time. And I think that everybody deserves to have it. So if you are taking your time out of your day to listen to this, I'm grateful for you. Oftentimes, what we look at as success or the pinnacle of it is really just a false ceiling. Whether you're evangelizing and saving souls from salvation or you're knitting something for your friend, you have succeeded and you are succeeding at doing what you need to do right now. So please remember that. Just like J. Cole said, there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. That's very true. It may look like it may feel like it, but please remember the life that you. This is a crazy statement to say considering there are people in war torn situations. So you know what? I'm just gonna leave it there and say, please have mercy on me, because my perspective is oftentimes very short sighted. So please do not vilify me for that. Because I understand that in some instances, as I always say, there are some things that are better than yours. But for those that have the privilege of being in a position, you know who I'm talking to, of just being able to lay down and look at a sky and go to sleep every night and wake up and feel the hot water on your skin, unless you're in maybe and there's no water, then please understand that it is a blessing to be you. And to Ethan Perkins, Perk, I just want to say thank you for your poem yesterday. He sent me a poem about the love of his life, and I can't thank him enough for doing that. I don't know if you'll ever hear this. I don't know if anyone will ever show him this excerpt of me talking about it. But to Ethan, I miss you. I really love you. I appreciate you. And I cannot tell you how thankful I am to have received your essay. And yeah, thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you. And have a beautiful, beautiful day. And remember that no matter what way you do things, remember that you are where you need to be right now, and that's okay. All right. Later.